Yeah, here's what I learned from that. There is, it's the network and the relationships help.
Sure.
And that was powder I saved up for a long time. Like I was working on making sure that we could put together the right team to go raise money. And I'll talk about that in a second. Internal consistency. Storytelling and internal consistency were two of the most important things that I came away with, which is, I think you probably all heard this before, but if you're raising money, telling a story is really important.
Absolutely
right?
critical.
It's everything. Like the whole deck needs to be a story, and the deck doesn't need to be super detailed at that phase when you're raising a seed round. It really needs to be the story, and you need to be able to tell the story and not look at your slides and like the slide should be the background, and you're telling a story to the person you're talking to, and you're looking at them and telling them this story, right?
And I just want to point out, they don't remember anything but the story.
That's right.
Just remember when you're pitching people, they don't remember your facts and figures. They remember the story.
They remember if you're passionate.
Yeah.
They remember how energetic you are.
Yep.
And then they remember, the story. Yeah. So the deck we had was really good, I think. It was actually, obviously, we got really good feedback on it.
Yeah, okay.
We got really good feedback on it. And there were a couple of particular ways we represented the industry and the story that were really, I think, unique ways to represent it. But the deck was constructed as a way for me to tell a story. And so that was really important. And then it was internal consistency, which is, if I'm saying I'm going to go do something, and the story basically tells us, the story says this is the problem in the world that we need to go solve, and here's how we're going to go solve it, right? And then the internal consistency is that you can immediately go to, here's how I'm going to do it. And that was the anecdotes and the team.
Yeah.
And so when it came to the team, and this was really well, we thought through this a lot. We basically assumed that if we're going to go raise that angel round, there are three things that really matter. One is the person you're speaking with has to believe that you are passionate about it, you're committed to it, which means you're not working anywhere else right now, you're committed to it, you're going to do it. This isn't like you're trying to get their money and then decide to do it, you're already doing it.
Yeah.
If they don't think you're already doing it, it's really hard. So one is just commitment and passion that you're going to go do it. And then they're going to believe in you because they're going to get excited about it, the conversation with you. That was one. Two is the opportunity obviously matters. Like the person has to believe this is a credible opportunity. Now, most of the people you're going to talk to are not experts in the thing you're doing.
Sure.
So that's where the story comes in and helping them understand and getting them there. But they need to believe it's a credible opportunity. A lot of people I've talked to about founding companies do the first pretty well. Like they'll come up with a great story, they'll quit their job and they'll go after it.
Sure.
And then they'll have an idea that seems pretty compelling. What's hard often is, can you go do it? Do you have 4 engineers or 2 engineers committed and working on this right now with you? Or if I give you the money, is there now risk you're never going to be able to go hire the team to deliver on this?
Sure.
And so I think, how do you de-risk that third one? You de-risk it through getting people active and involved in it early on. And the way that we did that with Convoy was we did the homework. I have a guy on my team that's always like, A players do their homework. He says it all the time. And it's so true. We went and did the homework. We spent, we were in the field. We got all the data and the numbers and whatever we could do, a ton of online research to come up with that story. So that I'm not just selling investors. I'm selling other people who want to quit their jobs and come do this with me. Employees and people who want to maybe give me half their time to kind of help me get off the ground. We had 5 or 6 people working on this who were engineers and helping us with it when we went to go raise money.
Yeah.
That was the thing that made all the difference. The other stuff I mentioned is super important. Having the engineering team doing it and committed and like their names on a slide and their pictures and like them willing to be references changed it. So that was pretty big. The last thing I'll say, in case this is helpful for folks. It depends on the time of when it is. There's different cycles, right? Investors get excited about different types of companies at different cycles. I think for a long time everybody's excited about social networking and messaging, and then there's I've seen a cycle right now which is logistics is obviously really popular, and so that's great. That helped us.
Sure.
But there's another angle on it, which is this a linear business or a nonlinear business? Is this a binary business or is this a business that has sort of a gradient? And what I mean by that is there are a lot of businesses that really aren't going to be successful unless they're massive, unless they really nail it. Like gaming is one of the ones that kind of falls into that department. Messaging and social networking, certain sorts of networks are really hard to even ever get off the ground without getting to scale.
Yeah.
Whereas there are other businesses that are much more linear and effort, and I think they're less risky. So you can put in, an amount of effort and expect some level of return in a certain type of business way more than others. So trucking, for example, and logistics, I felt like it was less risky because I felt like we could put the energy in and do the homework and really come up with the right approach to it and then work hard to make it happen versus having to kind of get lucky a little bit and somehow get that spark going that causes like viral downloads of our game, right?
Sure.
And so being able to compare and contrast that difference to an investor and say, look at this business, it's a linear model, it's gonna happen, technology's driving this. Because I mentioned earlier, a lot of them don't know the industry. They don't know necessarily social networking versus gaming versus trucking.
Sure.
But being able to tell that story again, differentiated it from a bunch of other investments they may have been considering or could do.
Yeah.
It made it feel like the safer bet and the smarter bet. So I think if you can tie your business to that, not like this can be successful through effort and through like thoughtfulness versus
A little luck.
having to get luck and like massive scale. You don't see a lot of like mid-sized social networks like Path, right?
Yeah.
Kind of was medium-sized
Yeah,
and it's done.
it's done.
It has to be massive or it doesn't really go
Well,
anywhere.
it's